Hi everyone, welcome back. What we're looking at here is the Maxon app. Now we're going to use this to launch CINEMA4D. We can go directly to the desktop icon and launch it from there, but this is just another way of doing that, making sure that we have all our applications updated. Now, as you can see here, I've got a couple of licenses. I'm using 2025.1.1, which is the latest version as of the moment of this recording. So I'm going to hit launch. Okay, here it is. Okay, first things first, what we're going to see here is the main screen, the default camera view, which is just one view. Now, if we go ahead and hit F5, we're going to see the perspective view, the top view, the front view, and the right-hand view. Okay, so now, what we need to do is first import our images into the top view and the front view, so that way we can have some perspective as to what we're building here. Now we do know that the size of the speaker is 16.8 centimeters. So what we're going to do is go ahead and add a cube to the perspective view. By hitting the middle mouse button, you basically end up looking at the perspective view only, or whichever view you're on at the time. So if I'm over here in the top view and I hit the middle mouse button, I get the bigger view of the top view. Another way of doing that is hitting this icon here in the top right hand corner. Now going back to the perspective view, middle mouse button. Okay, now notice how the cube just always lands in the middle of the world. It's on X0, 0, 0 axis, so your axis icons are here, Y, Z, and X. So what we're going to do is size this cube so that it is the size of the Sonos speaker. Now we do know that the sides of the speaker are 6 centimeters, so we're just going to go ahead and put 6, and 16.8 is the height, and 6 centimeters. So it's quite small, it's right there. So that is the size of the speaker. So we're going to hit the middle mouse button again, and now if we go to the front view, here it is. Okay, so what we're going to do now is going to go ahead and import the image of the speaker. So we do that by clicking the view, going down to configure, click configure, and go ahead and hit the back tab. Now you're going to see this thing here called image, and what we're going to do is just open the folder and look for the image of the front view, or actually it's the back view, but it's more interesting because we do have a few buttons here that we might want to add to our model. So now it lands dead bang in the middle of the screen. So what we're going to need to do is see our little cube here. That's our little cube. That's the little cube over here. See how much bigger the image is. So we need to resize the image to fit into that little cube. Now the image is proportionate to the size of the actual speaker. So all we have to do is just decrease the size. So we're going to go ahead onto the size Z entry and just drag our mouse button from right to left, and it should start decreasing. Another way to do that is obviously by clicking or by typing. Now I prefer swiping because it gives me a bit more control over what's going on. So I'm just going to zoom in by using the middle mouse button. Now to shift the image around, just click Alt and the middle mouse button, and you should be able to reposition it in the middle. So we're going to do that again, size it back down, and scroll in by rolling the middle mouse wheel, and Alt, middle mouse, and reposition it again. Now what we want to achieve here is we need to resize the image to fit inside the perimeters of the object that we just created, which is here in the top left hand corner. You can see it here in the front view, so you can see the sides there in bold black. So we're going to do that by scrolling either the Z or the Y. So let's just go with the Y axis. So what we can do is just click and drag to the left, and that will basically scroll the image. So let's just see if we can position it so it's almost around the same. Let's go into the bigger view here. So there we go. And when you get really close, you can just use the arrows There we go. And that's about right, actually. So it's not too bad. It doesn't have to be super accurate. We're not doing a CAD here. We are basically merely creating a 3D model for advertisement or and such. So here you can see that it's a little bit to the right, to the left, the image, and the cube, the actual object is right in the middle. Now just use the offset. The offset is just jumping between 0 and 1. You can see how wide that is. So let's just go and give it a 0.5. Look at in the middle. No. Okay, let's give it a 0.25. That's about right. 0.25. So that's okay. And again, let's have a look at the sizing. So Alt and the middle mouse button, drag it up. Okay. So you can see that the actual object is a little bit thinner than the image. So that means that we need to go back to the object. We have 6, so it might be just a little bit bigger than 6. So let's go 6.5. No, let's go 6.3. Okay, that's about right. Or we can go back to our dimensions of the actual object itself and be a bit more accurate if we wish. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so according to the dimensions, it's 6.2. So let's just change that to 6.2, and that's it. Okay, so let's just go back to the image. So top left hand, view, configure, and here in the offset we can see the image is slightly to the right. So let's just go to 0.22. That's closer. 0.21 might be accurate. There we go. Okay. So now the image is approximately in the middle, though these buttons are a little bit off. So let's just see if we can change that. 0.1. Oh, that's not good. 0.15. There we go. Okay, now if I scroll in, see the on button. It's slightly to the left. We can be a little bit more accurate if we will, but no one's going to notice that. That should be enough. Okay, so let's go back to all the other images. Now here in the top, we need the top image. So we're going to go ahead and go to View, Configure, do the same thing. Go to Back, find the top image. Or what we can do is get the bottom image and just use that as a sizing tool. Now we notice that the image of the object that we created here on the left hand side is right there, and you can see how much bigger the actual image is. So what we're going to do is just do the same like we did before. We are going to scale it down, dragging the left mouse button, holding the left mouse button, just dragging it to the left. So we're going to go here, it says size Z, so size Y, click and drag. Okay. Oh, I think we just nailed it. So holding Alt, middle mouse button, and just pull it to the left. That should be about right, actually. Fantastic, good. So now that we've got the image from the top view approximately correct, the image in bottom view is sized correctly, what we want to do is place the object on the bottom, on the actual XZ plane. So the way we're going to do that is go ahead and click Cube, make sure that the object is selected, make sure Move is selected, and head over to the front view and just move it up. There we go. So we're going to undo this snap a little bit because we're close enough, and just eyeball it a bit there. Now what we're going to do the same thing with the image. So we're going to go ahead and go to Configure, find the image, and using the Y, select and scroll it up. Now it went really, really fast. So let's just eyeball this a little bit. So it's 8.23, I believe, maybe 8.4. That's it. Okay, great. So now middle mouse button again, here we are. So now what we have is the top view, we have the front view, and we have our object here.